All right, so hey, moving on to the two spring games we got. Let's preview LSU first. Let's jump all down to Baton Rouge. And I just thought, man, this Ed Orgeron, Brian Kelly, back and forth is just hilarious to me. Coach O goes up to Notre Dame, tells them they're going to win a national championship with Marcus Freeman. Now that Brian Kelly's not the coach up anymore, he didn't specifically say that, but he kind of implied it. Now Coach O is going on Jacksonville Radio 1010XL. My buddy Matt Hayes is the host down there, and he says LSU should win a national championship within 3 years of hiring Brian Kelly. Let's kick it over to Coach O for this clip.
Yeah, it's Matt Hayes. Thanks so much for joining us. So with LSU, Nick wins the title in the early 2000s. Les follows him. He's got to win a championship, so he does. Then you go and you basically have maybe what many people think is the greatest college football team in the modern era. So this is what Brian Kelly's walking into right now at LSU. The expectations are at the top of the top. Is he like if he doesn't win a national championship, is it failure?
Well, I don't know what they discussed, but I know that's the expectation there at LSU, and they want it, and they want it now. But you know what? You ought to be able to do it at LSU, and they gave me 3 years, which was very fair. It gave me the time to build our football team, and look what happened. This is a great state, Louisiana. As you guys know, it's not like Florida State, FSU, Florida, and Miami fighting for the top players. It's LSU. You should get the top players here. You got a great tradition, so you should be able to win the national championship. Now, you're not going to win it every year, but you should be able to win it. Get in 3 years, you should be able to do it.
Ooh, so, I mean, take that how you will, but it kind of seems like Coach O's putting a timeline on when Brian Kelly's got to win a national championship, something he's never done. But, of course, the last 3 head coaches at LSU have done. The school will do everything in its power to put you in position to win the SEC West, which gives you, obviously, a trip to Atlanta, and that'll punch your ticket to the college football playoff, something LSU did in 2019. And Coach O says better damn well happen by 2024. So that's what you're walking into, Brian Kelly. That's why you came down here. You've made no bones about it. That's why you're in Baton Rouge, because Notre Dame does not have the facilities. They've got the academic restrictions. They don't have the players that you can get in the SEC. Well, you can get them now at LSU, and you're already showcasing that via the transfer portal and now on the recruiting trail. But now the fans want to see what you're putting together with the conclusion of your first spring practice in Baton Rouge. And it won't just be the fans down there, because Joe Burrow apparently is going to be down there for the spring game. I don't know if he knows Brian Kelly, but this will be an introduction, if not. So that'll be something to be fired up about. This is going to be a huge recruiting weekend for the Tigers. So having Joe Burrow is only going to help things, cause a stir, and maybe get even more LSU fans out that were on the fence about attending the spring game. But what will I have my eye on? Of course, the quarterback competition. Miles Brennan, want to see how he looks. Haven't seen him. Didn't even see him at all last year after he suffered his injury. So how healthy does he look? By all accounts, he's ready to go. Let's see it. Jaden Daniels, have never watched him play in the SEC against an SEC defense, so want to see how legit he is. And Garrett Nussmeier, has he really taken a next step, as indications are out of camp? So that's going to be something to see. Don't forget the 5-star freshman Walker Howard. Brian Kelly says they will split reps between all 4 quarterbacks on Saturday. So this is going to be one to keep your eye on. To legitimately, we got 4 potentially elite quarterbacks for the LSU Tigers. This is not going to be a situation where we got 1 or 2 guys and then 2 guys kind of coming along. These are 4 guys trying to earn that job. The secondary, I'm going to have my eyes on that as well. Completely reworked down there at LSU with Joe Fouché, Greg Brooks, the Arkansas transfers, Michael Williams-Gardner from Louisiana was a transfer, and Jarek Bernard, not 100% he's going to play, but he was the touted corner from Oklahoma State. Let's keep an eye on these guys, see how how they look after their first camp at LSU. And of course, if you missed it, we hit on it earlier in the week, but LSU added a transfer from Ohio State as well. He won't be on the field, but just want to see how that unit's coming along. And potentially the biggest unit, which you're not going to see much in the spring game. It's always hard to tell, but offensive line, how's that unit coming together, particularly five-star freshman left tackle Will Campbell? Does he have that spot locked down? Again, it's hard to take anything away from a spring game, but just want to see if he looks the part for the Tigers down there. And one other guy, it's time. It's now or never for former five-star recruit John Emery. Is he going to be the man for LSU at the running back position? Didn't get to play last year due to some off-the-field academic nonsense, what have you, but is he ready to emerge for the LSU Tigers? They may need him early in the season to carry this offense while they're still figuring out the quarterback situation. So let's kick it over to Brian Kelly, who talks the progress Miles Brennan has made this camp on getting the team ready. He said, hell, this team wasn't even ready. I had to work their ass off the last couple of weeks to get them ready for this spring game, and how they're treating it like a real game. And on the new look secondary, how that's coming along in Baton Rouge.
How much have you seen Miles Brennan improve in the short time you've worked with him? What are his qualities? And it just seems like at practice, he seems to have pretty good grip on what he's doing out there.
Well, I think I would start with physically. He's improved his body, his conditioning level. All of those things had to start with, his ability to just compete, and he did a tremendous job in January, February, March, leading into spring ball, physically changing his body type, taking care of himself, getting stronger, which put him in a position to use a lot of his experience against, by and large, other than maybe Jayden, an inexperienced group. He knows what he does well, and he knows his limitations. So I think he's a smart, experienced quarterback that plays to his strengths. He throws the ball extremely well down the field, pushes the ball vertically, is always going to get us in the right play, protects himself and protects the ball. He's just a smart player.
Curious as to what sort of tone around the team is now heading into the spring game on Saturday.
Well, after the last two practices, I think they're pretty excited. These have been heavy practices. We've thrown a lot at them the last 2 days, more than I can remember in a long time. And a lot of it was because they weren't ready. I didn't want to have a lot of soft tissue injury. I didn't want to have a lot of guys out. We've minimized injury in the spring because of that. We were very careful in the way we went about our first couple of weeks. So therefore, there was not a lot of 11-on-11 live work. I was able to save a lot of that for later in the spring. And so I can tell you it's been robust in the last week, and then we're going to go have a scrimmage on Saturday. So these guys are going to be tired after Saturday. So I would say that they're going to be pretty excited for Saturday because they're going to be in the stadium. So the adrenaline is going to be going, and we're treating it like a game. From the walk to the pregame to being in the stadium, we're going to treat it. It's going to be on, the SEC network. All of those things will make it exciting for them.
Hey, Coach. So with the recent addition of some transfers, how well is this DB room really improving? And with the leadership of Greg and Joe that they bring to the table, with their veteran leadership, being in the SEC for so long, what can they teach these younger guys that are just coming into the SEC, and what can they bring to their table and kind of teach them and coach them along their journey?
Yeah, it's a good question. We didn't know. Look, we knew about their character. One was obviously a captain. One was extremely well thought of in the program. They both love Louisiana, wanted to be here. So a lot of those things were in place. You don't know until you get them here in terms of, work ethic and things of that nature. We thought we had, two really good ones, and then they took off. I mean, they were leaders in our off-season program. And then on the field, they're exactly what we had hoped. They lead by example, both on and off the field. They've been excellent in the classroom. They've been a great addition and have helped rise the level of everybody.